So recently I did a video, and I believe it was titled Things That Single Women Need to Hear or Single Women Need to Hear This Message. And immediately I had one of my subscribers DM me on Instagram, which if you're not following me on Instagram, my Instagram is at RIVAH_JORDON. That's the easiest way to get in contact with me. I had one of my subscribers DM me, and she was saying, it's great what that woman was saying in the video. However, I've seen her do an interview before talking about the state of her marriage and why she got divorced, and I want to get your reaction to it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. I'm going to have to start and stop it because it is a little bit lengthy, and I want to give you guys my opinions. So let's just go ahead and get into it.
When I turned 40 in 2021, my life coach had me do an exercise. She said, do the willing to lose list. I'm like, what is the willing to lose? She said, it's not that you want to lose it, but you're willing to lose people, places, things, like, whatever, in order to be all that you believe God has called you to be. And I had to be radically honest. See, a lot of times we don't want to get on that list. I didn't at first because I didn't want to see it. So I didn't. But when she first explained the exercise,
you knew it.
It kind of dropped in my spirit, but I didn't want, of course, nobody gets married wanting to get divorced. Nobody gets married thinking that. I was envisioning picking up grandkids with this man one day, like doing all the things. We going to the tape. We dying like Notebook, like together, holding hands. I had never envisioned it. But I had to be radically honest and ask myself a lot of questions about, are you really fulfilled? And do you actually feel like you're being loved the way that you now love yourself? And the answer was no. And he had learned to love me in brokenness, but didn't understand who I was as a more whole and complete woman. The type of love you gave me 10 years ago is not going to sustain who I am today. And I had to be honest about that. And I was honest. And if someone doesn't have the capacity to love you how you want to be loved, I think for me, I had to choose to love myself more than anyone and anything. And in loving myself to that extent, I couldn't settle for love that didn't serve me.
So I want to stop it right here, and I'm just going to give you guys my take so far, right? So this woman was saying that she went to a life coach, and, she had some kind of like awakening and realized that she, wanted to do more, or maybe she saw more for her life. And, her life coach instructed her that there was a way that you would have to, what are you willing to lose to be able to be this certain version of yourself, right? And I want to say, when it comes to relationships, I don't think that people realize the weight that comes with you growing separately away from your partner. I don't think that people mentally realize that because, there's a fine line between, maintaining your own identity and making sure that you are, you're a full human being. This person is a full human being, and you guys are joining lives together and creating one bigger whole. But, there's a fine line between that and being a whole, togetherness, or you being a whole person by yourself, then you just kind of veering off of the path of all of us together, and you just taking a left turn and saying, I'm going to go do this for myself. There are a lot of women who file for divorce, right? We know that. The majority of people who file for divorce is going to be women. Women are the ones who say that the spark is gone. I'm just not happy today. I just woke up today and realized I'm just not happy and I don't want to do this anymore. Women are the ones who do that. But there are steps to getting there that women are taking blindly, not knowing that there is a strong possibility that they're going to be risking their family nature, the structure of their relationship, their wholeness. That one big hole that they created can be at risk by you veering off of the situation and going over here and consulting with somebody other than your spouse, especially when your spouse is not also getting that same consultation with that same person. There are a lot of women who go to therapy. There are a lot of women who get life coaches. There are a lot of women who get, whatever kind of guides. Sometimes it just be their homegirl that they think is in a better off situation that they are, and they go and they consult these people without their covering, which is their husband. And they are being led. Now they are not under the leadership of their husband. Now they are under the leadership of this person that they're entrusting to direct their lives in the way that they feel that it should go, or the way that would feel most comfortable for them. Before the relationship or the marriage is over, by you consulting this life coach, this therapist, this whoever it is, without your covering beside you, or without the knowledge of, without your covering having the knowledge of all the things that you are communicating to this person about, I just want to let you know, keeping it real, people might say this is extreme. People might not agree with it. I just want to keep it real with you. You have now broken the covenant of your relationship. The same way women say, oh, he cheated. I can't believe he did that. Oh, he stepped out there. I can't believe there's another woman out there who knows more than me. But y'all are doing the same thing. You're leaving the therapist, the life coach, whatever it is that you want to call it. You're letting these people know way more intricate details about how you feel in regards to your life, your lifestyle, and your relationship. You're allowing these people to know way more about you and your feelings than the person at home. This woman is saying that she's, a strong communicator. Okay, cool. There's a lot of women who are communicating all their feelings to their homegirls, to the pastor, to the life coach, to the therapist, and their husband is right in the house with them and has no idea that they have these feelings. You are now breaking the bond between you two, because you are saying, instead of me consulting the person who is supposed to be covering me, leading me, guiding me, the person who's I'm supposed to be on one accord with, instead of me consulting this person, I am saying that speaking to him or conversing with him is not going to be good enough for where I'm headed in life. And so I need to go and be up under the regime of somebody else outside that can either give me a window to be out of this relationship, can open the door for me, or can confirm my feelings that I'm already having about not being in this relationship anymore. I think it's detrimental that you have somebody who is consulting or telling you or guiding you, leading you in a space where, you have to be willing to let go of places, people, things, this and that. I think that is very irresponsible for a person to be, guiding or directing somebody who is in a marriage, a relationship, without that other person present. That's my opinion. Okay. That's my opinion, but we're going to go ahead and keep going.
Correct.
So what were the conversations like? Because I think that's so important. Again, allowing her to learn through your lessons, but then also letting her keep that safe space with her daddy. So what were those conversations like?
It's so funny because he and I just talked about this on this past Sunday. We were talking about how blessed we are to have a daughter that can hold space for both of us. No matter what, she can love her mom and she can love her dad and respect us both. We don't talk ill of each other. Definitely not around her, but we're honest.
Definitely not around her.
Definitely not around her,
Yeah.
But we're honest about what we each need. And she gets to respect that it's okay. Like, it's okay for people to know what they need and accept that they're not getting it from their partner. Like, has nothing to do with her and our love for her. But I remember her telling me early on when we first separated, she's like, I think you and dad are going to be great co-parents. And I was like, you think so? And she was like, yeah. If you would have asked me a few years ago, I would have never said, oh, I'm unhappy in my marriage.
Okay, before we move on to the next point, so this is the host is asking her about her daughter's feelings throughout this situation. And again, I don't know this person at all. The woman who is I reacted to before and who, I'm talking about right now, I have no idea who this person is. So my commentary is not, specific to this woman because I don't know all the details. I don't know who she is. I don't know her business. I don't know nothing. I'm giving my point of view based off of the situation because there are so many women who step out, who talk about they unhappy, who talk about the spark is gone, who leave relationships. Whether it's because of, the opinions of their friends, their homegirls, because they just wake up one day and they feel this newness. She mentioned being 40. You wake up and you just feel like, okay, I'm different, or things have changed, and I want to make sure I'm taking advantage of all the opportunities in my life. And a lot of women use temporary emotions or feelings to make permanent decisions to their lifestyle, to their life, to their household, to their relationships, and then they be turning around and still looking for a man when they had one. Okay, so I'm just want to make that disclaimer. I think that we have to be careful when, I want to say kudos to her for saying that she is not going to talk about her, her ex-husband or her child's father. They're not going to speak ill of each other to their daughter. I think that's great. Okay, I do want to give credit where it's due, and I think that's great. That's awesome that you are not going to be tarnishing this man's image because you no longer want to be in a relationship with him, and so now you're going to ruin the relationship between father and child because of you. Which a lot of women who leave the relationship, especially when the man, didn't do nothing wrong, when they just felt like the spark was gone, they're very willing to be amicable. Most of the time when we see that they're not amicable is when they didn't really want the relationship to be done with. That's a whole nother conversation. But with these younger women that are growing up, I think that there is a false example that's being set for younger women that's very detrimental. And, when we're talking about the rate at which people are getting married now, it is going to be vastly different even for this younger generation of women that are growing up, because they don't have the examples that are set. What we might be, saying that we're teaching to our daughters and what we're showing them can be two different things. Because you can say, that you honor marriage and that, you need to find somebody that's going to be a great leader for you. And, no matter what, you guys are going to go the long haul together. But at the same time, our actions are saying, once I'm unhappy with something, no matter what it is, I'm going to step out. Once I no longer feel fulfilled, once somebody is not, tickling my fancy, once the butterflies are gone, I no longer want to be in this situation, even though I committed to it. Even though I'm bound to this situation. Even though I created a family structure and a family unit, once I'm not happy, I could chuck the deuces. A lot of women, if a man woke up one day and said, I'm just not happy with this relationship, I just want to be out of here, women will be talking about that kind of man like, oh yeah, he's a dog, he's a this, he's a that, he ruined his family, how dare he? Oh, what you mean you teaching our son, the right way to do things? You left your family for no reason. What's wrong with you? We cannot, keep amplifying as if, life is this fairy. It's not. Okay? There are ebbs and flows in life. It is so beautiful. But we have to be honest. Sometimes we experience discomfort, pain, heartache, joy, happiness, sadness. Like there are ebbs and flows, and we have to be realistic when we talk about these things, especially when we talk about relationships, marriages, because people will go into it thinking that it's going to be blissful all the time, and that is not true. That's not true. That's not realistic. So how are people going to get through the tough times of marriages and relationships if everybody is making it seem like it's all, butterflies and rainbows? When people go through hard times, they're looking on social media and seeing everybody that's only posting a snippet of their good time. So then they think that their hard time is not natural when it is. There's a season for everything. But let me continue.
That wasn't it. But when I start to think about where my life could go and what it could be if I was loved the way I wanted to be loved, I had to be honest. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't that it was terrible, he was an awful guy, and we were just fighting it. We weren't doing any of those things. It was, but there was an awakening for me, and I had to be honest about it.
Was he shocked since it wasn't, like y'all were always, it was always a problem? Or did he kind of see it coming?
He would say that he was shocked, but I don't think he really was. I don't think anyone wants to say I knew it was coming. We had conversations, and I'm very open, and I'm very clear. I'm a clear communicator, right? So it's not that I hadn't voiced certain things. I literally just don't believe he had the capacity. That's different than desire.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he had the desire and not necessarily the capacity in the time frame that I was working with.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to just say, there's no prize in saying, I was married for 40 years, but 25 of them I was unhappy. For
Facts.
what?
Facts.
And that's what many of our mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers did. We don't live in that time anymore.
This is my problem, okay? This is my problem. We're going to get to more of my problem, but this is my problem with this conversation. You see, a lot of women nowadays are so worried about being happy. Okay? They are so worried about being happy. They're so worried about this person being a mind reader and being able to, tend to every single need, even though sometimes as a woman, she might not even know what it is that she needs. He's supposed to know because he's with me and I'm experiencing him. And so if I'm feeling like down, he's supposed to know to just bring me flowers immediately. And if I'm feeling like this, he's supposed to know how to do this. And all the weight is being put onto the man. What he's not doing, what he should be doing, all the weight of the relationship is being put on one person. Women like to walk around and act like, all the weight is put on the woman. It's up to me and I got to do this and I'm responsible for this and that. But in actuality, all the weight is put on the man. Because the women are the ones who are asking these men or parading themselves around to be the girlfriend. They're putting their best foot forward so that this man will propose because women are the ones who push for marriage. They're the ones who want to get married. And then when he does, now, it's just starting all over again for this man to have to hurry up and try to win this woman over time and time again because she might wake up one day and say, this commitment that I made with you, I was just playing. I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. Okay, it was a dream of mine. I wanted the child, the house with the picket fence, and the husband. I did it. I don't want it no more. We had fun, right? Cool. I'm done. This is why men don't want to get married. This is why. Because when the going gets tough, the men are not, they have not been conditioned by the fairy tale movies to believe that, it's going to stay like this forever and, they have to hurry up and run. No. Women are more swift. They overthink. They think quick. They, multitasking. They're doing this, doing that. They're on to the next. They're trying to hurry up and get to this situation. Where men are more steadfast and, okay, we're going through this, but we'll get through it. Okay, I understand how life goes. Okay, I committed to this family. A lot of men are in relationships that they have not felt happy in for a long time, but will not leave the relationship. And the reason why is because they know that the judgment that will come down on them if they decide to, quote unquote, break up their family. They know the judgment that they're going to be met with. The problem is that women have been comfortable because they're no longer met with the same judgment that our grandmamas used to be met with. When there was a problem back in the day, for our grandmothers, their mothers were like, you better fix it. Their sisters were like, you better fix it. Girl, you better go home to your husband. I don't know what you're over here telling me for. You need to go tell him. You need to go fix that situation with your man. Now, when women are going through rough times, again, because they're just seeing the snippets of people's peaceful lives and, what relationships are supposed to be looking like, when they go for counsel, you have women who are not being authentic. And so they're saying, oh, girl, I don't know what's wrong with you because my man would have never did that. Oh, if that was me, I would have left him. Oh, girl, you could get another one. It's crazy. And, saying that, being with somebody for 40 years and 20 of them you're not happy, or 25 you're not happy, which I think is a very drastic number. It's a drastic number of years. But yeah, there is times that you're not going to be happy in a relationship. There is times. Okay? And that's just real. It doesn't mean that you are disrespecting each other. It doesn't mean that you are, arguing and it's a tumultuous relationship where there is, physical things going on, emotional things going on. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying in life, there is possibility there's going to be a while sometimes that you're not happy. Maybe somebody experienced a loss in their life and they're depressed and they're going through something. It's hard for them to interact with their relationship or with their partner because of what they're going through. Maybe there's a situation where somebody loses their job. Maybe there's a financial strain within your household. Maybe y'all have kids and the kids is driving y'all up the wall. Maybe you won't be happy because of that. We have to normalize that. Everything is not going to be a movie every day. Everything is not going to be giddy sunshine and smiles and this and that. And I think that one of the biggest problems that women have is that women are so focused on, the romantic comedy movies or the Disney fairy tales that when it comes to real life and real situations, they don't realize that the commitment comes before your happiness. Sometimes it's really not about you being happy. I hate to tell you that. What you mean, Rivah? So I'm supposed to be with him and I'm not happy? Sometimes, yes. What does that have to do with anything? The commitment is supposed to be the first thing. You guys are together for a common goal, for a common purpose. You created a family structure and a family unit. Again, if nobody is not physically harming or whatever, and y'all just in a certain space, the beauty is coming through that situation together, growing together. Sometimes you end up closer than you were before you even had the problems because of your ability to get through the situation. We see it all the time. This person filed for divorce, because people are saying, oh, I'm tired. I'm not going to be unhappy. That's yesteryear. I'm not going to be this. Okay. Then y'all go back out to the streets and you waiting for the man that you had already. You waiting for this imaginary person to come and scoop you up when you waiting for a husband, but you was already married and you left that relationship. Let me finish this. Let's finish this.
Right? So I have a right to be happy, and I want to be happy and fully express all of who I am all of the time. And so we had conversations. He still has said that he felt blindsided. And of course that's to be expected, right? And a part of a big lesson that I've learned is I owe him the dignity of his own process. When we first separated, because I wanted it to be so, amicable, I was like, we're going to talk every week and we're going to flush out everything. We're not going to waste all our money on all these attorneys. People were like, it's going to take you 3 years with all the stuff you got. I was like, I do not receive that. We're going to do this with grace. We're going to do this amicably. And he went along with it, but I realized after several months that in his mind, he still thought there was a chance. He was being nice because he's like, oh, if I do what she says,
we'll just get back
she
together.
just go, we're going to get back together. And in my head, I was really clear that was not an option. And, we had some difficult conversations, and I had to just apologize just recently. I'm like, I was not trying to intentionally control anything, but I realized by carrying on that way and just hey, we're going to talk every week and we're going to do this and it's going to look like that I was being controlling, not from a fear-based place, but it was control nonetheless. And it wasn't fair because he needed to grieve. And a part of his grief may have included not seeing her talking
a
to
true
me.
cut.
A true right? And so that was a big lesson. Give people the dignity of their process. You can still do something with dignity and allow it to be difficult. Having dignity doesn't mean it's just going to be perfect.
So I think this part of the video is very ironic, right? because she's talking about, things not being perfect. And so she's understanding that now through her journey or through her growth about things not being perfect. But it's amazing that she didn't understand that within the relationship, within the spat of unhappiness, within her growing to a certain level and her feeling like, she's outgrown her husband instead of them growing together. I think that was quite ironic that she said that. The reason why, this video means so much is because first, let me just say this. The original video that I reacted to is, I'm not negating anything that she said in that video. Okay. Everything that she said in that video, I still have my point across that I made, and I agree with it. Right. However, it's just ironic that this video was almost a year ago and she was talking about her divorce or whatever. And now we're seeing her, go and do another interview where she's talking about she need a man. So you went through this whole marriage, this whole companionship that you had with your spouse, with your partner, the person that was willing to commit to you. And, something that really struck a nerve is when she said that he had the desire, but he didn't have the capacity. A man who has the desire, okay, to be there for you, to commit to you, to support you, to you going through a journey. He's trying to, find out whatever the journey is and get on that with you. He's trying to be one with you. He's trying to, keep or maintain that union between the two of you. And all of his efforts are going unnoticed because deep down, you just don't want to be with him no more because the streets seem more interesting, because we have to be real. When you talk about being loved in a certain way, when you talk about certain things that you desire, when the whole focal point is about you and not about the union and not about the relationship anymore, if we're being honest, you just want to go back to the streets. You think that there's better out there. Maybe you got married young. Maybe you've been with him for a long time. You feel like you didn't experience enough, so you want to go right back out there. To still, and the fact that you're still out there is very telling. So many times, sometimes I say this and I say, well, shout out to the man, because at least he got a woman who is telling him that she don't want to be with him. She can save him the time of his efforts going unnoticed because he can find somebody else. And I say that often, but I also have to talk about the fact that, there's so much trauma that happens in that situation for him as a man that can leave him stagnant, not wanting to move forward because he didn't even have a certain thing in his relationship that would say, okay, I need to work on this so that I can't do this in my next relationship. Because at the end of the day, she just woke up one day and said, you couldn't conquer me. And that's a hurt to a man's ego. You couldn't conquer me, and I'm going to stand out here. I'd rather stand out here by myself until I find somebody than to be with you. We can say, good thing that he got out of that situation, but there's also hurt that comes up in that situation as well. When you've done everything the cookie cutter way and it's still not good enough. That's hurtful. That's very hurtful. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. There's so many more avenues that I could take within this one conversation, but we'll be here all day. So leave your comments in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.